Welcome to Real Estate in the Tri-State, where we talk about all things buying, selling, and investing in the Dubuque area. Featuring experienced locals giving you their real estate insight. My name is Abby Rottler, and here is your host, my husband, Rob Rottler.
Welcome back to another episode of Real Estate in the Tri-State. Today is episode number 24, and the guest is a young, ambitious insurance agent with American Family Insurance in the Dubuque area. He was raised in Cascade, just a quick 32-minute drive from this studio. After high school, he attended Coe College, where he played baseball. We will not hold it against him. Wartburg guy. Now back like he never left, helping folks with their insurance in the Dubuque area. Ladies and gentlemen, the great and powerful Nolan Weber.
How we doing, Rob?
Hey, good. I am excited for this one. A couple things, listeners. 24th episode. We are shouting this one out to the late Kobe Bryant. R.I.P. Kobe. Lost him in 2020. A legend. No one like him.
Just a different guy.
And we're also going to shout it out to...
We're going to shout out to King Griffey Jr., one of my favorite players.
A legendary baseball guy. So, number 24 is a good one. Also, we are enjoying, and we are going to sip a nice glass of Jim Beam Peach. And it's delicious. I'd never had it before. We have a nice cold glass of it, and we're going to sip that. We each have our own glass. We're not sharing a glass.
No COVID here.
Due to COVID. If it wasn't COVID season, we'd consider it.
We could swap some.
Mm-hmm.
However, Rob could not find the Crown Peach. So anybody that ever listens to this, if you find Crown Peach, just buy as many bottles as you can and stockpile that, because it does not come around often.
That is no kidding. Like, I was talking to Nolan before we got in here, and I said, "Hey, what's your favorite drink?" And or what's a go-to for you, or what would you like to drink? He says Crown Peach. I said, all right, sounds good. And he's like, yeah, it's pretty hard to find. I don't know if you'll find it. If you don't, it's no big deal. I was like, oh, believe me, I'm gonna find it. And of course, I go to a few places here in Dubuque today, and pretty quickly, everyone looks at me like I'm crazy when I ask them if they have Crown Peach. So that ended quickly, but. We're enjoying this, Jim Beam, and I was talking to my wife actually before we got in the studio. I've had some high-end whiskey, like high-end for me, which is probably like not very high-end.
High-end, recent graduate from Wartburg, so it's probably drinking like Skol vodka.
Anyways, I've never really been able to taste like the difference in good whiskey and not good whiskey, so I was hoping this would be a good substitute. And it's proven to be right. I don't know. I can't really tell the difference. Can you?
Tastes good.
Tastes good.
No, it actually tastes the same.
Yeah.
Ish. It's how you wake up in the morning is...
Little shot of whiskey. Here's the thing, too, is we are trying this whiskey stone in the glass. It's supposed to keep the whiskey colder as you drink it. So we're excited about that, too.
It's working very well, actually.
Yeah.
I like it.
Very good. So, Nolan, played baseball in college. We have a few mutual friends. You're doing business here in Dubuque. We're working out at the same gym together. You want to just tell everyone just a little bit about yourself so they can get to know you better?
So a little bit about me. I was a junior in college. So I went to Coe, as Rob said. I was a junior in college. I went and got an internship at Geico. And while I was working for Geico, I did nothing with insurance. As weird as that sounds. I'm working for Geico, one of the biggest insurance companies that you'll see on TV. Did nothing with insurance at Geico. Was learning about more management skills as a impressionable junior looking to pursue a business career within the company. As I'm there at Geico, that internship ran out. I come back to Coe for my senior year. I'm working out with my assistant baseball coach at the time. Shout out Jacob Waddle if he ever listens to this. And then this guy who now is a good friend, mentor to me is Brian Watkins. Brian Watkins is with Jacob Waddle. Brian works out, if he listens to this, too, about once a month And so he actually comes and works out with us, and I didn't know who he was. And Waddle ends up telling Brian that I'm working over at Geico. So Brian says, oh, he must know something about insurance. Little did he know that I was doing nothing with insurance.
Wow.
And Brian
crazy.
says to me, well, do you want to make some commission while you're a senior in college? I said, sure. I mean, what time do I have to go to work? He said, you just show up. If you call people and you sell some policies, I'll pay you. I said, well, I can do that. I know how to talk to people.
Uh-huh.
So I end up finishing my internship out with Geico. Brian gives me the property and casualty, so your home and auto insurance, the book to study. End up studying, end up passing, thank goodness.
Yeah.
And because honestly, if I wouldn't have passed that test, I
don't know where you'd be.
Oh my goodness! At that point, I took that test prior to starting my senior year, so that was before. I mean, I was an economics major, so classes definitely get hard, time consuming with baseball. That would have been something I probably would have been like, oh, let's go keep donating plasma for my senior year of college.
Heck yeah. We've all been there. Yes, this is the first BioLife shout out on the podcast. We've had 24 episodes, folks. Nolan and I shared a love for BioLife in our college years. Got us through.
Got us through.
A lot of those nights, you got to go get some hot dogs or some macaroni and cheese to get through the week, grocery bill, all those type of things. Got us through some tough times.
Oh.
And the biggest thing, saving lives.
Saving lives at BioLife. But then I used to think I was saving lives, and somebody from the American Heart or Red Cross, I forget, he told me, he said, they use your plasma for makeup. And I said, oh,
dang.
That was a strike.
Hey, we're learning things on the podcast today, folks. I still like to think like maybe at least one of my doses. Just at least
something.
one.
I mean,
save somebody.
I haven't given in a minute, but now with the COVID, it could be making a difference. I know they're paying like it does.
That's what I've heard. Someone told me like $700 and
you can make about
that's a month
it's
or
at
a
least
week.
$100. It's at least $100 a week now.
Oof, that's good.
So you talk about people that donated. We're going on a tangent with BioLife. You talk about people that donated plasma. People that my aunts that have talked about donating plasma, they used to get paid $30 a week.
Wow.
I was in college getting paid $70 a week, and now I'm hearing people getting paid $100 a week.
Wow.
Man, think about if I gave you $100 a week in college.
Yeah, just to go sit in a chair almost.
Man, you're sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah.
Just pumping.
I talked to a guy one time who had a lifetime payout of over $14,000.
That is nuts. I will just partner that nuts comment with, I knew a guy that bought a wedding ring with his plasma money. Wedding ring. I mean, I'm sitting here with my plasma money trying to afford this week's fun. This guy's saving up his plasma money to buy a wedding ring.
That's awesome. How did we even get into plasma anymore? We were talking money in college. Yes.
Yep. So he says to me, go and sell this commission. I said, that's better than plasma. Get into it. And I'll tell you what, at the beginning, and this is just where I feel like me as a young agent can definitely help people my age. Because at the beginning, trying to learn all this, I was super confused on what I was reading. I said,
I believe it.
What does this mean? What is a deductible? What is this? Like, what am I covered for?
Yeah.
So as I'm studying and then I end up passing, I start working for Brian. And I mean, we worked for hours, several hours a week. So I'd probably work for 10 to 15 hours a week, selling policies. I was calling these internet leads is what we called them. So people in the Cedar Rapids area, and me and you talked before about going on the assessor's website and doing the homeowners insurance from that end. Just trying to help people save money, get out of their current situation that maybe was unfavorable for them. And then time went on. I graduated college. It was time to find another job. Finding another job at that point was not my first priority. We ended up when I graduated, we ended up making the super regional in baseball. So we graduated. And
that's a big deal.
It was fun. I mean, it's not Wartburg making to the Final Four, 8?
Elite Eight twice.
Elite Eight twice. Nobody likes Wartburg. But we ended up making there, but we graduate, and I'm still playing baseball, so trying to find a job that could fit my potential non-timetable because I don't know when I'm going to start. I don't know when we're going to be done.
Oh, yeah?
So we're trying to do that. I'm trying to navigate. I ended up doing one job interview in Kentucky through a co-connection, but stayed local. Brian told me, hey, if you just want to stay on, you can stay on. So I must have been doing something right there.
Yeah.
And as I was learning, it was nice. More insurance, learning how to talk to people. It's definitely a people industry, so being able to do that helps. Then time goes on. Agent retires here in Dubuque, which was nice. I mean, it worked out very timely for me to be able to continue on my career path as an insurance agent. So end up starting here now in, when did I start? April 15th was my official first day. May 1st, I officially took over in Dubuque. May 7th, I officially moved into Dubuque and got my phone system. I tell you what, the first day as an insurance agent, I was sitting in my kitchen in Cascade. I hadn't lived at home in 4 years since I went to college. So now my home, I turned it into my office.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there on the kitchen counter. The first day in the office, I was sitting on the ground with I didn't have a phone. I had a cell phone that has a completely different number now. And if any of my insureds ever listen to this, I'm sorry that I have two different numbers.
Oh, yeah?
I have two different numbers now.
I, too, went through a number change, like earlier this year, probably exactly when you did. I went through a whole new number change, and I just feel bad. I've had a few people reach out. They're like, hey, did you get a new number? I've texted you 4 times. It's like, sorry, man. Like, new number.
So for me, I kept the cell phone. So I have 2 different numbers that people can contact me by. So it's an app. It's a cluster. I mean, we'll be sitting there, and it's like the office phone rings to me and my associate's phone.
Okay.
So we'll be able to get that one. But the cell phone, it's nice because people can text me there or like send pictures, and that's what. Man, just about a nice thing about working with us is you can just text me and we'll figure it out. But
which is great. We'll get into that.
But yeah, so that whole number was very confusing for people because I sent out letters to. I mean, the agent I took over for, she was really great at what she did. She built a very great client base, educated everybody a lot. I only met her a couple times. She educated me. More on the policy than I could have ever asked for. Went to very in-depth detail. Very coached me in a way to treat her clients with the same way that she did. So a very family-oriented agency.
You know what I just realized too, and I was not even thinking about this when you came on the podcast. I did an open house this summer. I was on South Grand View. Open house. Someone came through, and I was just chit-chatting. The wife was not able to do stairs very well. The husband was. So the husband was going up and down stairs. So I was just, chatting with the wife. I'm pretty sure, because I had known you back then, I'm pretty sure this is the same gal you're talking about. She used to do insurance with American Family because I told her that I knew a guy who was at American Family, young new guy. She's like, I'm pretty sure the stars aligned there. But anyways, tangent there. I'm pretty sure I've met this gal who you're speaking so highly of, who educated you, who got you started, like who you replaced, like so good. So you just kind of get in the office, and this gal who retired, she helped you get started.
Yeah, she definitely got me started. So then definitely the day one being an agent is, well, everybody's gonna be like, who's my insurance agent? And that was the hardest thing I have ever done. Me and you we had talked about just overcoming those fears. Is it hard for me to call somebody? No. Is it a fear that I could potentially have to interact with someone I've never interacted before and kind of flip their world upside down? I mean, insurance is something that no normal person ever wants to think about. However, in my world, it's like, all right, insurance is the only thing that matters.
Yeah.
But so now I'm calling everybody. I'm saying, hey, I'm your new insurance agent. And they're just like, what? And I said, yeah, well, she had retired. The former agent's no longer with the company. She's retired. And I was like, oh, well, what? Seriously? And I said, I'm sorry I'm this new guy. I didn't do anything.
I'll do well. You know, your rates aren't going to go up.
Like, oh man, I tell you what, the amount of questions. I mean, the fear was if somebody's rate did go up, like at their next renewal, if they were like,
your fault.
It's my fault. I was like, no. If I got paid to set your rates, then I wouldn't be talking to you. Like that's. I always tell people. I said when the rates go up or down, I said those are people way above my pay grade. Those guys and girls that studied all these things that I was not. I would have failed out of college trying to study.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's actuaries. Those people, they're smart.
Oh yeah, they definitely are.
We're insurance and real estate. We're not in the math.
Yeah. When I was a senior at Wartburg, our center. So you know, a lot of times the center in football, they have to communicate things down the line. Mm-hmm. They got guard, tackle, tight end on each side or something. They got to point things out. They got to point who's blitzing, all this and that. Our center wasn't future actuary. Oh. So he was a freaking genius.
That is a brain.
It was good. And then our quarterback was a future like doctor. So there was some good brains going on.
There was some different. That's why you play defense.
Yep, that's right. That's exactly right. And I got small hands, so I couldn't catch. So, anyways, I really like how you say, you know, insurance is your world. Most people don't like want to think about it. They don't want to talk about it a ton, but that's your world. Like that's everything.
That's like what, puts the lights on.
Right. And same thing for me. Most people who love the place that they're living, if somebody's living in their forever home, most people think like if they're hearing from me that I'm trying to sell their forever home or something. Mm-hmm. That's not the case. Here's the thing, sometimes I forget this, but I got an email from some middle school kids who were looking to do a school project, and the question was. Oh, this was from a middle schooler. I just answered it yesterday. The question was, I can remember how I answered it. I basically said you make money. It's a commission-based career, and you make money based on how many people you help buy or sell a house. In general, how many people you help. And then I got to thinking, it's like, man, that's exactly what I got into this for, is to help people.
That's the big thing. Help is.
It's exactly right. And so like if someone's in their forever home, they might think, oh, there's nothing that a real estate agent can do for me. It's important for you to know what the lending rates are right now. Mm-hmm. It's important for you to know like what the value of your house is, how much it's gone up, how much equity you might have in your house, what you could do with that equity. You know, if you have goals of completely paying down your house, you know, we can talk about that stuff too. There's a lot of, and I believe it for your career too. Like there's a lot of things that we can talk about, even if you are comfortable in your forever home, adding value to clients and things like that.
Absolutely. Even
though like for some people, they don't want to talk much about it. It's like I can help you here. I want to help you.
Yeah, absolutely. The word help is, could I buy and sell insurance? Well, I don't sell. Could I buy insurance could I sell insurance policies every day of the week? Absolutely. Is that going to have me banging my head against a wall for the entirety of my career? 100%.
Yeah.
Is it the more people I help and the more people that trust me, then it's, all right, we're starting to build a stream here. I want to be able to help the Rob Rottlers of the world rather than just, I could pawn off an insurance policy to anybody. But my career is not built on how many policies I sell now. It's what's my retention? How many people do I help? So that's definitely where our paths align, is we want to help as many people as possible so we get those referrals. I mean,
yeah.
Could you go out and sell a bunch of people homes real quick and just snap them off?
There's a way I could. Yeah, if I paid a bunch for like Zillow leads, they'd be flying to me, and it could be probably a lot of people who maybe aren't qualified or might get a lot more headaches. You know, you want to work with people you like and trust.
Absolutely. And Yeah, it's definitely you want to build relationships with people, and that's how the word help is a lot better than saying buy or sell.
Yeah.
Because yes, it is a product that you are buying, and it's a product that I'm selling. However, it's a product that you need, it's a product that's important, and it's something that, gosh, God forbid anything does happen in your situation, that we are there for you to help.
Yeah.
So
I can just imagine your conversation like I'm trying to picture on the insurance side. Like if somebody does have maybe a big name insurance policy that they filled out online, maybe they don't know everything about it. Like you could call. Here's the situation. They're paying $1,000 a year for some policy.
Yep.
And they're getting X, Y, and Z for as part of coverage protection as part of that policy. You might be a $1,200 policy, but you're going to provide A, B, C, and X, Y, Z.
Absolutely. So that's where we dive into like specifications per agent and per company. So like if we were going to go into homeowners insurance, we'll talk that's common path there. So homeowners insurance is, gosh, I just had a guy the other day. If he happens to listen, if I share this and he listens to it, he was awesome. Young guy, just bought a house. He was with a different company. The other company, I've never downplay any other insurance company, but the company that he was with kind of undervalued what I thought was what his home was worth. So as his home, he comes in, he reached out to me via my website, which, it's the best.
We're going to share it at the end.
It's my absolutely favorite email in the world to get is, hey, you have a quote request lead from so-and-so.
Woo!
Yeah, favorite. So reached out to me. I reach out to him. We talk. And so I was just talking to my associate today, and when I was talking to him about calling people, one of the big things we want to ask when we're calling these potential leads or potential clients is, why are you shopping your insurance? Granted, 90% of the people that we ever talk to are going to say price. Well,
Money.
okay. Yeah. So, but there's other reasons too. And that's the reason why you ask the question. Because if I just called you and told you that, hey, I got you at this, then you'd be like, all right, no, now Nolan Weber, American Family is just a number. No, we're going to ask you why. So we ended up finding that he didn't really like his price, but he also had some other concerns with his insurance. And he was new. I mean, he's young. He just bought a house with his fiance. We talk about the value of his home. And gosh, I forget the question.
We were talking about like creative ways to add value to like clients. And
yeah, absolutely. So the guy comes in, we sit down and we go over, and like me and you went over before about the assessor's website. We sit down and we go over, and I explained to him exactly what why my valuation is what it is. And I asked him, I said, did your current agent do that? And he said, no, they just sent me over. I sent him the address. They sent me a quote. I said, sure. And bada boom, bada bing, they have an insurance policy.
Heck yeah.
And then he's just like, he questioned it. He said, what? Like, why is this what it is? So he reaches out to me, and similar guy to my age. I asked him, I said, why'd you reach to me? He said, because you look like someone I could talk to.
Heck yeah.
I said, well, yeah, I hope so. I'm your age.
That's right.
And we sit down, I go over the assessor's website with him, and I ask him, I went into full detail. So how insurance agents come up with these values is every insurance company has their own replacement cost calculator. You type in the specifics of the home, and you break it all down, and at the end of the day, it spits out a number. With American Family, there's the specifics that we give 20% on top of our coverage A. Coverage A meaning if your house burns down tomorrow, how much the insurance company's going to pay for it.
Right.
But we break down the specifics on how I asked him. I said, well, I'm going to have you essentially fill this out outside of what I can say on the beacon. And then this is our true replacement cost. And if you do have any concerns about it, then me and you can talk about it, or we could increase it above what we have. We can increase it to above 100% replacement cost. But it made him feel very secure going through. He essentially filled out the replacement cost with me as we and him talked, and we got to know each other a little bit. And at the end of the day, he felt very comfortable with what he was signing up for. Granted, I don't know if our premium, we never disclosed premiums with his other company, but I don't know if our premium was saving him a lot or would cost more, but he felt very comfortable as a first-time home buyer buying our insurance product rather than going with somebody that said, hey, here you go, what do you think? And then at that time he said, sure.
Yeah. I like it. I like it a lot. You know, just doing more for your client. That's all it was. And here's the other thing too. And folks who are tuning into the video, you'll see this. So you're a tall guy, and you said the guy thought you were approachable. You're a tall guy. You got a good beard. If you keep lifting the way you're lifting and you grow that beard out,
big guy,
you're not going to be very approachable. People are going to be like, who's this big, scary guy? You got to look out for that. Is that ever a concern?
Oh, no.
I haven't even thought about it.
I'm just trying to get big. I want to look like Rob. Actually, I want to look like the guy if this will never happen, but there's a guy that works at a True every morning. When you want to talk about a big red beard and a big guy,
geez.
You know what I'm talking about.
I do.
Oh,
big guy.
Shout out the Eagles Club, because I think he bartends over at the Eagles Club 2 stalls down from my office.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can't miss him.
That is okay, I don't want to get that big.
And he's got a red beard, too.
And he does, yes.
So you can like almost see yourself in that.
I was walking out this morning from lifting, and he was on the bench press, and thank goodness I was not there when he was benching, because
he would have kicked your ass off.
I would have really questioned everything I was doing, because that guy, yeah.
Here's the other thing, too. He's very approachable, but it's just funny. Don't we all want to look like The Rock or something?
We do.
We do. I mean, we lift at Volve Fitness. Volve Fitness, people.
Volve.
Not true.
Not true.
New name, same good spot to lift. But yeah, The Rock is just. Here's the thing about The Rock too. I listen to a bunch of different podcasts. I know you're not a huge podcast guy. Everyone talks about The Rock like he's the guy. He's the man. Could you imagine
being The Rock?
Could you imagine being his enemy or something?
Oh,
like. That would be terrible. Everyone loves this guy who you don't like or something. Like, everyone loves The Rock, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if I've met a single person who doesn't.
Whoever his counterpart is, could you imagine being the guy like that envies The Rock, like that's like, oh, he's my enemy, that The Rock doesn't like?
Oh, jeez, that'd be crazy. I bet he could sell some insurance.
Oh,
speaking of insurance,
100%.
Speaking of insurance, you talked a little bit about replacement costs. You want to dive into that a little bit deeper, just in case somebody doesn't know what replacement cost is.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll just dive in. I like talking examples a lot more than talking language.
No, we need the Merriam-Webster definition.
Yeah. So definitely, like, how replacement cost works is, gosh, Rob, say this house blows over tomorrow.
Yep.
Well, the insurance company's not going to cut you the check for X dollars to build the house back up. The insurance company's going to cut you a check for how much they assess the house at for actual cash value. Reason being is they don't want Rob Rottler taking that whole full replacement cost, walking away with it and go building elsewhere. No, they give you the actual cash value, and the reason they give you that is so there's no insurance fraud.
Ah, yes.
Like, they want to make sure that we're going to give you a replacement cost once you can show us that you've replaced what you had. So the derecho, friend of mine, renter's insurance. He was required by his landlord to have renter's insurance. So him and 3 other guys I played baseball with, they end up getting renter's insurance through me. We knock it out of the park. I'm sitting here, they're never like. The odds that anybody ever uses it is so small.
But
and like it's very small. But I always set people up for in the renter's insurance world is, in case of theft, we have a small deductible because if someone's ever stole anything from you, it'd be probably your laptop and your TV, electronics. So, gosh, God forbid, well, the storm rolls through and his roof falls on all his stuff, and I was like, all right, well, we have your personal property limit, it was X dollars. And at that point, I was speaking with him, and he asked me, he said, Nolan, well, my check, why is it this? I said, well, because you got to replace the stuff that you just claimed. So when the claim happens, he has to work with his adjuster. With me, I always try to tell people, I said, if something does happen and you don't want to work with the adjuster, just work through me, and then I will be your kind of segue to the adjuster. Because sometimes people aren't as confident. They don't want to talk to somebody that they don't know. They'd rather speak with their agent.
Yeah.
But he was okay with that. So he's talking to his adjuster, and he puts together a list of items that need to be replaced. And I told him his limit, and we talk about it. So that replacement cost, but once again, he gets the check for X dollars. He's like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And I tell him, I said, well, you are approved up to your recoverable depreciation amount is this. You claimed this bed frame, they adjusted it at this cash value.
Mm-hmm.
If you replace it, then you can make up these dollars. So that recoverable depreciation is definitely, that's the replacement cost. They're not going to cut you a check right away for this place burns down and they give you a $200,000 check. No, they're not going to do that. They're going to say, hey, you have to rebuild you have to show us that you're going to rebuild before we actually give you that amount of money.
And say, okay, so if this burned down, I did have replacement cost coverage, but we just decided, okay, we liked the place, but we don't want to rebuild. What are our options then? If we have replacement coverage, but we're not going to rebuild, maybe we're just going to go buy a new house or something.
So they're going to cut you out the actual cash value check there, and they're just going to leave it at that.
So, and the actual cash value is lower. And so we're talking about, okay, so imagine my house. I think my house is worth around $170,000. And imagine we have $10,000 in personal property. We're up to $180,000. And $170,000 for the house, the land, the dwelling, that's everything.
Yeah, the land,
imagine if it's $170,000 for all that, personal property $10,000. So we got a total value of $180,000 that we're insuring replacement costs. That would be the actual cash value. So would we get a check for $180,000?
Well, it's going to depend on what they come out here and whatever your agent did for your replacement cost calculator. It also spits out an ACV amount. So if say your agent comes out and spits out a $200,000 or $180,000 what you said, or $170,000 what you said as a replacement. Well, that calculator is also going to spit out a actual cash value amount that you can insure it at.
Yeah.
So that's what it is at American Family. I can see both numbers.
Okay.
But newer houses, man, if your house is built in 2018 and you got a policy with me in 2020, that ACV and RCV are going to be about the same thing.
Yes.
But living in Dubuque, these houses are
old.
Yeah, a lot of early 90s, late 1800s. You're talking about old houses.
I saw 1851 one time.
Yeah,
that's an old house.
Yeah. So people are going to be like, well, the house assesses at this or whatever. They'll say, well, I only bought the house for X dollars. I said, well, if your 1,600 square foot house burned down tomorrow, even though you bought it for $80,000, it's going to cost about $200,000 potentially to replace.
Yeah.
And they're just like, well, as their insurance agent, they asked me, why is my insurance so high? I said, because if this thing did burn down tomorrow, you're going to want to build a new house, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I always paid $80,000 for it. Well, I don't care that you only paid $80,000 for it. I want to make sure that if something did happen, the worst thing did happen to you, and you did have a total loss, that you are indemnified.
Yes.
Indemnified, for the people that don't know, means to put you back in the place you were before a loss. It is the biggest insurance word that you will ever learn.
Indemnified.
Indemnified.
That's a big word we brought out here.
Indemnified. If you want to sound smart talking about insurance, to say, yeah, my insurance is to indemnify me in case of a loss.
There we go. That's what we need.
That is exactly what the insurance is for, to make sure that you are taken care of.
Yeah.
So that's the RCV and ACV. And I'll tell you what, if the biggest thing with our policies is going to be replacement costs on the roof compared to replacement cost or the actual cash value on the roof. So, if you think about a homeowner's claim, what are you going to claim? The odds that you start catching fire are very small.
Yep.
But they could happen, so that's probably my second. The biggest one, we live in Iowa. So there's a hailstorm that rolls through. Good. Look at the derecho. Look at Cedar Rapids this past year, or last year.
Disaster.
They had a hailstorm in April, and then the derecho in, when was that, August? So weather in Iowa is so unpredictable.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that your roof above, your home is almost always going to be insured at replacement cost, unless you're buying a different policy. Just something that I wouldn't recommend buying. If you want to make sure your home's insured at replacement cost, because if something did happen, you want to be able to rebuild.
Yes.
However, that roof, we'll just assume a roof costs $10,000. Okay. If you have a 12-year-old roof and that hailstorm goes through, the insurance company might cut you a check for $4,000.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to put a new roof on.
I mean, okay, all right, well, that's $4,000, and your deductible is $1,000. All right, so you just got $3,000 out of the insurance company. Cool. Well, now you are spending another $6,000 to put the roof back on.
Yeah.
So now if you have that RCV at the 12-year-old roof, and they gave you a cut check for $4,000 minus your deductible, then they're going to pay for the difference in the replacement.
Yes.
So that is one thing that I would always tell people: check your homeowner's policy if you listen to this, and just ask your insurance agent, is my roof insured at replacement cost?
I really like that you ask your insurance agent, because like for me, like if I got something in the mail, if I got a phone call or something, it was like, hey, check your homeowner's insurance policy. I'd be like, yeah, let me just open my file here. I have no idea where it's at, where to look for it, any of that. So I appreciate you like offering. I'm sure you do offering to check for your people. And,
oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Like I always tell people, I said, the last thing I want one of my policyholders to think about is their insurance. Like, hey, if something ever does come up, do not ever stress over a thought about it.
Yeah.
Just call and ask, and we will get this cleared up so fast.
Yeah.
Like, if there's ever a worry or concern, hey, Nolan, could this potentially be covered? As insurance agents, we do not cut checks. We do not approve or deny claims. Our job is to put you in the best place in case of a claim.
Ooh.
So anybody that's ever upset with their insurance agent because something wasn't covered, they're not the ones writing the checks. It's the adjusters. It's the company. So we're just here to put our insureds in the best place they are before a claim. So if there ever is a concern from anybody out there, I would stress, just ask your insurance agent. If this were to happen, I mean, granted, insurance is not black and white.
Yeah.
I wish it was. It'd make it
There's a lot of things that can happen.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. If an elephant sits on my couch,
Yeah.
well, it depends on what kind. No,
Yeah.
but just ask your insurance agent if you ever do have those questions, because honestly, in our policy, I mean, I brought my policy today.
I love it. He's got notes, folks.
I mean, it's one of those things that I would doubt that everybody that's ever bought insurance read through 25 pages of lawyers writing policy language for everybody. So
Yeah, and it's the same with real estate too. Like if I'm writing a real estate contract, it could be 20 pages. But people don't. I mean, engineers, I'm hearing they'll do it. John Deere engineers, those type of people, they want to read through everything. And great for them. They know their stuff, and that's awesome. But you and I are in similar positions where, okay, here's the contract. Here's what I know about the contracts. Here are the moving pieces. Here's what you really need to be concerned with. You're surely okay and welcome to read the entire thing, but I will do absolutely everything I can to cover what I think is important and necessary for you and your situation. Mm-hmm. And if you have any questions, let me know. We'll talk about it.
I mean, absolutely. That's why I prefer, and I feel like you prefer too, to deal with people that you trust. If it comes to investments, banking, anything that I do, even my landlord, I will only do business with people I trust, because I'm not going to read every single document that comes over my desk, because I just trust the person I'm doing business with. I'm trusting that they're not taking me for, more than what they should. They're gonna, they justify everything. So, have trust with your insurance agent. Definitely, just have an open conversation. That's where I really will tell people is the difference between me and Progressive. Really any insurance company, and Progressive, just the company, or Geico, just the ones that are more call centers. I'm not knocking them, because they do a very good job for a lot of people. Because they're two of the biggest insurance companies in the world.
Yeah. But
if you have the capability of speaking with an agent, just develop that relationship.
It's gonna serve you.
Yeah, absolutely. As long as you're just honest and say, hey, this is my situation. This is what I would hope you could do for me. They're going to do what they can for you. Nobody's just going to say, never mind. Like, you don't mean much. No.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, everybody's people, especially around here. I'm going to look out for my neighbor.
Yeah. And you can't be a business person in Dubuque and not, you're going to have a hard time if you don't, value having good character and doing what's best and what's right for people, because it's too small of a place where it's going to get out if Rob Rottler is not serving his clients well. I have no future as a realtor here.
100%. Rob Rottler could go out tomorrow and F over 12, 15 people and sell them a bunch of houses. Well, Rob Rottler's not going to be doing business in 2 years.
That's exactly right.
It's not a good industry to get in to get rich quick, because you're going to be out of it in a minute.
Right. And you said something about elephant on a couch. It got me thinking, a little creative here. I assumed there was probably some funny insurance memes, so I pulled up here on the TV some funny homeowners insurance memes. So we're just going to highlight a few of these.
Oh, my God. Look at Urkel.
You've had the same insurance coverages since I was on TV. Go call your agent.
That's oh my gosh. I was talking.
Do you find people will have their policy for years and long time? Yeah, they don't even know what they have.
Yeah, absolutely. So the nice thing is about our homeowners insurance, and I mean, I think every company has this, is say you never looked at your homeowners insurance for 20 years. Well, your coverage always increases. We have inflation on our policy specifically. We have inflation guards for the policy to make sure that it keeps up with construction costs. So say back in 2000, I insured your house for $200,000. Well, $200,000 back in 2000 is not the same as it is now. Construction costs have definitely changed.
COVID.
Yeah, COVID. So now people you're seeing rate increases on your policy. No, why my rate go up? Well, all right, well, let's talk about this. So your coverage just went up 8% from last year. Reason being, because your coverage went up, is because if your house burned down tomorrow, those materials to replace it cost a lot.
They're going to cost 8% more to replace.
So that's where that's the nice thing about, you've had the same insurance coverage since I was on TV, but your homeowners, for anybody that's concerned, it does, for my best educated guess, is increasing every year. Now, has your insurance company come up with a lot more endorsements since then that you could add onto your policy? Probably.
And a good agent would be reaching out to their people saying, hey, we got this new thing.
Obviously the agent can't, if an agent has a large book, they can't call every single person every time something else comes out. But this is the funniest thing I've probably heard since I was an insurance agent was, insurance reviews are like going to the dentist.
Oh, jeez.
An insurance review is not something you look forward to. And at the end of an insurance review, nothing's probably wrong. However, the time that you go to the dentist and you have a cavity, you just prevented a problem.
Ooh.
Now, how many times have you had a cavity in your life?
Me personally?
Yeah.
I had one on a baby tooth and I lost it. But yeah. We got it filled.
Yeah.
No root canal.
So that's what I'm saying, is that how often a cavity would come into place for a dentist is small. But for me, I just had a cavity filled. It prevents a problem.
Here's the question. The next time you go to call someone on insurance, here's the challenge. Ring, ring, say, Hey, this is Nolan Weber with American Family. Hey, I was just calling to see if you ever had a cavity before. Start with that. You got to try it at least once.
Just try it. We talk to a lot of people a lot every day. So,
well, the next time you're going to call somebody who you need to have one of these insurance reviews with, maybe they got an old policy, maybe they got some upgrades you got for them. Just ask them if they've had a cavity, and just go with it.
Does that analogy not make sense?
It does. It does.
Honestly, how painful can it be going to the insurance agent's office? I'm not going to hurt you, but I can't physically touch it. Have you ever had a root canal or a cavity? That thing hurts.
That's going to get painful.
So I'm not going to hurt you.
Yeah, that's a good point. Here's the other thing too, folks. A lot of times I leave the dentist's office. I get there, I'm like, all right, here we go. I leave, I'm like, I feel good, And that's probably a lot of the same
refreshed.
For you. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, your teeth are something small. If your house, people spend their life, your life is your house.
Yeah.
That's your biggest investment that anybody's probably going to make in their lives, unless you're one of the guys that we watch on the news. They spend more money than that.
Yeah.
Musk.
Oh, What a freak.
But yeah, if you are that concerned and you want to make sure that everything's done right, just go have the conversation. It definitely leaves you feeling a lot more refreshed, especially in Iowa, especially in the state of Iowa.
Yeah.
I mean, weather patterns, there's no such thing as a weather pattern here in the state of Iowa because
It's crazy.
everything changes.
Yeah.
So go have that conversation. Absolutely. Reach out. Make your insurance agent earn his money.
Yeah. Heck
Gosh,
yeah. That's good.
God, we sit there and sometimes we're looking for stuff to do. Call us, ask us questions. It's our
That's what you like doing.
It's our passion.
Yes. I like it. Here's the other one. There's a meme here of a skeleton looks like sleeping on a bench. Can't really tell if it's sleeping because there's no eyelids. It says just waiting on my insurance claim to go through. Does it take a long time?
So that's a loaded question. I said before that, I mean, us as agents, we don't have the claims authority to approve or disapprove. However, a good agent will get you to somebody that's doing their job, will make sure that they are expediting the process as much as possible. So, like I said before, if I could, man, I would write checks for everybody if they had a problem. I wish I could.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
But I cannot. So, American Family. So, fun fact: we were rated number 1 by Forbes as homeowners insurance in 2020.
Let's go.
Let's go. I don't know how they came up with that rating factor, but we were rated number 1. I do love our homeowners insurance. I do think it's really great. We do have, in my experience as an employee and now as an agent, our adjusters are some of the best when we have our in-house ones going. And that's one difference between us and like a mutual. I know my adjusters in my area, whereas somebody that might be writing through a mutual company, more of a broker, they might not have those relationships. Not saying they don't, but I just know specifically that my adjuster's working with American Family, so I can reach out to them.
Can't hurt.
It's one of those things. Like, my guy knows me. He says, I like working with Nolan. I'll make sure Nolan's people are taken care of because he's a good person. So do claims get processed? I mean, there's so many different. Sometimes it does take a minute.
Yeah.
And then the one thing that I can guarantee, at least in our office, and I mean any other American Family agent that I know, is that the reassurance that it is continuing to process. The last thing that I want someone to feel is that it's at a standstill without a reason. So if it is at a standstill, if it is slowed, like if Rob goes and has something wrong happen, well, Rob's gonna reach out to me and be like, no, why the hell isn't my claim being processed? Well, if I can't give you a reason, I'm failing at my job. Rob,
the ownership.
Like, I will reach out and find out why. I don't want you to have to stress about it. Your contact needs to be me. And my contact needs to be to whoever I need to complain to figure out what was going on.
Yeah.
So that's where it is. Claims take sometimes, man, they get processed in 2 days. Sometimes they take a minute, depending on, I mean, you start talking about estimates at how much it costs to take to replace something.
Oh, yeah, because say my roof blew off and I had, done, I don't know if it even matters, replacement cost, actual cash. Well, yeah, it does matter. It does. If I had replacement cost, my roof blew off, you would have to get, what, three quotes?
So at American Family, we don't have a quote limit. You can just get one. So say you have XYZ come out to you and go give you a estimate on your roof. Well, XYZ just charge you 200% more than what our adjuster says. Our adjuster says, what the hell? Like, no, it can be done for this amount. So the best part about American Family, and this is where I just absolutely love us.
Listen up, folks.
Is that our adjusters are so good that, like, so people-oriented that they, as long as a contractor can justify what they're charging for the roof, like why they're saying it needs to be fully replaced rather than partially replaced, it needs this, it needs that, if the contractor can justify, I tell you what, 99% of the time, our adjuster is going to agree, or at least the adjuster and the contractor will work something out to make sure that the insured is paying nothing more than the deductible. And that's where I just know at American Family, no insured is ever paying more than their deductible. The work will be done. It's just the adjuster and the contractor are the ones that are going to talk. The insured is out of the picture. If you're with a company that you're the one playing middleman, just get out of it.
Yeah.
Because I tell you what,
that would be terrible.
I'll tell you what, man.
There's companies where the homeowner has to like negotiate almost with the contractor. Is that a thing?
No, not negotiate the contractor, but like taking bids from the contractor to the adjuster.
Oh no, we don't need that.
Just don't play middleman. You're paying for something that, first of all, you hate paying for.
Yeah.
At least take the.
You're already upset. You're already emotional.
At least take the service part out of it, because there's good companies out there, regardless what company it is, that have good agents that will help you in that process. I know, gosh, respect to every agent in Cedar Rapids, regardless what company, when that derecho went through. I know.
That's a busy few months.
Oh, fuck.
Probably still going.
Still going. I still have some people still going. Shout out to Brian, again, my former agent.
He's still slinging down in Cedar Rapids.
Yeah, still down in Cedar Rapids. Still has me on his voicemail forward email or messages. So that day for the derecho and the weeks after, I was forwarded approximately 700 voicemails. So yeah, not kidding. Shout out to any insurance. That's how I knew the stress they were going through, no matter what company they were with, is that, I mean, that place was decimated by a natural disaster.
That's nuts.
Like, and that's what's like the cool part about living in Iowa, different from everybody else, is a hurricane goes through Florida. Everybody in the nation knows about it. Texas, same thing. Wildfires out west. Everybody knows about those. Nobody really took a look at what happened in Cedar Rapids. It was a major. It was a natural disaster that really affected a lot of people's lives. So, I mean, insurance definitely is always the bad guy, but in this situation was the good guy, making sure everybody was taken care of. Indemnified is the big word. But yeah, shout out to everybody there, because that's where. Take into account those people when something does happen in your area and you find out that somebody was taken care of rather than you were struggling. Take that into account. Find out if something does happen, the worst thing does happen, you want to make sure that you are protected by the right person.
I feel like a lot of people just don't know what they don't know about insurance, including myself probably. I need this. I'm learning a lot. This is great. Don't know what they don't know, and a lot of people might assume, my house burnt down, I'm covered.
Assumptions, yep.
So here's the other thing too, is like, and I just love a good meme, but like this one, especially right before you talk about the derecho, right after, there's a photo of a house that looks like maybe tornado or something. The meme is, this is not a good time to find out your house is underinsured.
Absolutely. So the big one there is going to be, so Rob, say this basement wasn't finished, and you finished your basement, and the last time you talked to your insurance agent was 5 years ago.
Oh.
All right, well, to replace the basement, the replacement cost of the home is going to be different with a finished basement than not a finished basement.
That's right. And some people might think, I'm not going to tell my insurance agent because my insurance is going to go up. But it's important.
100%. So also another thing is people say, I'm not going to tell my insurance agent my basement's not finished, or my basement's finished, because then they're going to tell the appraiser,
the assessor, the county assessor.
Yeah, and then my house is going to assess for a higher amount. I'm going to have to pay higher taxes. I'll tell you what, people, the insurance company and the government, they don't work together.
Yeah, they don't commingle.
These values are completely different. We just make sure. The one thing with American Family is we do offer 20% above our coverage A. So say this place was insured for $200,000, we'll give you $240,000 if it did burn down. We'll give you an extra 20% on top of what we insure, as long as we're insured at full replacement cost.
That's good math.
Oh, that's why we stick to hard figures.
Yeah, 200,000 is a lot easier than 176 or something. Very good. So, okay. So, more example here. So if my house is worth 180 grand with all the personal property, land, dwelling unit, and everything, and I have actual cash value insurance on it, if it burns down, I get 180 grand?
That would depend on your insurance policy.
Depend on the insurance policy. Okay. So if I have replacement costs and it's worth 180 grand, would I just get... Oh,
But this place
the insurance only covers the dwelling unit, right?
Yeah, we don't cover the land.
Yes. The land is still good if it burns down.
Yep.
Tornado.
You could still own the land, but we're not going to cut you a check for. I mean, here's one, and it's just the bearer of bad news is, say your tree falls down in your yard by a windstorm and it doesn't land on anything, insurance isn't going to pay to remove it.
You got to get that removed yourself.
Yeah, you're paying that bill. I mean, that's derecho. People learned.
That was big.
Everybody thought that was an assumption under their policies that, they'll remove the tree. They won't. As long as it's not affecting the dwelling, we're not going to remove it.
That makes sense.
Because we're insuring your home. I'm not insuring plot X in Dubuque County.
Yeah, and you don't want to pay for the land value on your insurance either.
Like, I'll tell you what. Listen to a podcast about... It was Freakonomics podcast. It was talking about the coronavirus and business interruption insurance. Okay, so I forget who he was, but we'll just say John said there in this podcast, is a brief clip. He says the best payout on your insurance, the best return on your insurance is nothing. And the reason being the best return on your insurance is nothing is it means you never had to go through the hardship of a claim. So don't.
Yeah, that is good.
As anybody that holds insurance, I hold insurance. It's not, I'm paying this much money. I want to make sure I get some money out of it. No, because if you do have a claim that also causes other problems, I mean, it's more than just, I get this from the insurance company. No, something probably happened. Something.
And if you're filing, sorry to interrupt, if you're filing a lot of claims, you build up is it almost like a claim history?
You build up a claim history, and then the more claims you file, well, okay, so say you paid $3,000 in your homeowner's policy for the first 3 years. Well, you just put in a $20,000 claim. Okay, so now you're up against the insurance company. Not that the insurance company's going to jack you up 17 grand the next year, but you're going to have a chargeable claim on your history, and you don't want those on your history. I mean, you want to use insurance for the reason it's meant is to pay out in a situation that you do have a loss, but you don't want to nickel and dime the insurance company, because if you do that, then you are either going to be non-renewed or you could start seeing higher rates.
Oh, dang. So you can straight up, say somebody's filing a bunch of claims and maybe some of them are ridiculous. You can straight up be like, you know what, we're just not going to insure you next year. You got to give them a notice or something.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's not the agent. I mean, once again, the agent has nothing to say in...
Oh, okay.
I don't have anything to say with rates. I have nothing to say with non-renew. These are our underwriters, the people that can pay a lot more money than we do to set these rules. I mean, they'll say this risk is no longer a preferred risk. And it's either going to show up in their premium or it's going to show up as a non-renewal. And then they'll have to find a different insurance company.
Yeah, that'd be a hard conversation to have.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And even if it does, if it shows up in their premium, hey, listen, your premium went up $500 this year. Here's the deal. You filed way too many claims last year, and obviously it's not my doing. It's the higher ups doing. It's the algorithm almost probably, but it's up to you. We'd renew you, but I mean you're going to pay an extra $500.
And that's why I always tell people. I said the best thing to do if you do have a potential claim is to go get an estimate. I mean, the majority of people are going to have probably $1,000 or a 1% or a 0.5% deductible on their homeowners insurance. So go get an estimate. Don't just put a claim in right away, because say you have $1,000 deductible and your claim's got to replace the flooring that got damaged due to something, cost $1,200. You don't want to put a claim in for that. Pay the difference of the $200, because then you don't have the $200 or the chargeable claim on you to recoup $200, because you were going to pay $1,000 anyway. Pay the extra $200 to get that chargeable claim off your insurance.
Heck yeah. That's a golden nugget for our listeners.
Like, don't nickel and dime your insurance company.
Yeah. I really like that. That's good. There's a fine line there probably between.
Absolutely. I mean, it definitely, you run your cost-benefit analysis. Does it make sense for you to put the claim in now? I mean, because there's definitely people, if putting that $1,200 claim in did make sense for you financially, absolutely. I'm not going to sit here and say, no, you can't. No, I'm going to sit here and listen to what your situation is, but I'm just going to make you aware of what's going to happen. That's like, you want to make people aware of, hey, you did, like, this is what we're doing. We're going to do it. We're going to help you. However, these are the repercussions. I'm not going to let you get blindsided.
Yeah. If someone puts in one claim, is the premium going to go up the next year?
No.
Or does it depend?
It does depend. Depends on the claim. So, like, we have non-chargeable claims. A wind hailstorm is a non-chargeable claim.
Oh, okay. A lot of houses in an area get
So,
makes sense.
I mean, say you have a kitchen fire. I mean, it costs you. There's $20,000 out of the insurance company's pocket.
Yeah.
That's going to be a chargeable claim. Your rate's going to reflect that.
And you guys are hoping to see fire or smoke detectors, probably.
Absolutely. So anybody that, this is awesome with American Family, is we give these discounts. I mean, smart homes, any new home buyer, everybody has this technology on their phone. I mean, you have, everything's on your phone. So you have the Ring doorbell.
Oh, yeah.
You have smoke detectors that are linked because you have some system in your house. I mean, you have burglar detectors, potentially attached to windows. Insurance companies give so many discounts for this. We have a product through American Family. It's called Hedge. And they offer, I think all you do is pay your shipping. And we'll give you water detectors that you can attach to near, like, your toilets or your laundry machine.
Make sure they're not leaking.
Make sure something's not leaking, which could potentially cause a water dam. And then we also have a detector, like a smoke detector, like a carbon monoxide or smoke detector. And all it is, it's not the actual detector. It's if you have one connected and that alarm were to be going off. So say you and Abby were out in Colorado.
Yep.
And your smoke detector's going off. Well, as of right now, unless you have something set up, you don't know what's going off.
No.
So say you have this on your phone. Oh my gosh, my smoke detector's going off. Then you can go make sure. I call the fire department. Our smoke detector's going off. So have someone go take a look at it. Same with the carbon monoxide. And then we also have something you can put on your windows. So say, right now, if I'm going to break into your house, I'm going to come through probably the basement. So you can set something up that it's a motion detector on those windows. So yeah, these smart homes, we definitely do give discounts on that because they're preventing potential losses.
Yeah.
I mean, theft is someone breaks into here, bada boom, bada bing. You got a lot of equipment down here. Right. So
that's awesome. Yeah. So. Oh, that's really cool. It's like incentivizing you to, like, get some tech that's going to
be proactive, put some skin in the game for you.
Yeah.
We're going to reward the people that take proper precaution on preventing losses.
Yeah, that is awesome. I got a Ring doorbell. Abby and I got a Ring doorbell for Christmas. It's on my to-do list to install that. But that's, that'll be sweet. Yeah, because that's security, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Those Ring doorbells, if you look at...
They're fancy.
If you go on social media, you can see those people, how much it catches.
Oh, yeah? Yeah. Yeah. I was talking to someone the other day. I can't remember who it was. Terrible time to be a burglar.
Absolutely.
Terrible.
Man, could you imagine if Home Alone had...
Yeah.
If that kid would have just had a Ring doorbell, the parents would have seen that someone was trying to break in, and they would have seen that Macaulay Culkin was at home by himself.
That is so good. This is the second time that Home Alone has been shouted out on this podcast, by the way. Not like it's interesting because Home Alone, it's not even like, it's a great movie. All of them I really liked.
Good movies.
Great movie, but it's like been shouted out more than any other movie on this podcast.
It's not like you're going on Rotten Tomatoes tonight and be like, all right, like Home Alone is what I need to watch.
Must watch. That's good. It's good.
But absolutely, we do really incentivize that. Putting more skin in your game. So, I know this is a homeowners podcast, but like the thing is too, is all insurance companies, at least ours, is taking into account this technology that everybody has. So like our auto insurance we're doing with the Know Your Drive program. Oh my God, you probably have right now on your phone. I mean, you might not because you are David Goggins,
Yeah.
but
Right.
the normal person is going to have a lot of apps on their phone, just anywhere from social media to shopping to God knows what. But you can just download an app with American Family for your auto insurance, and it gives you a discount just for having the app. It just tracks how you drive. You don't plug anything in. You don't have to sign in.
And if you drive responsibly, you get lower rates.
Lower rates.
Heck yeah.
That's how we treat essentially how we treat our homeowners insurance. If you are a more responsible homeowner and you take more safety precautions,
Same thing.
we're going to give you more discounts. If you have sprinklers installed in every room, we're going to give you discounts because you are preventing a total loss from a fire.
Yes.
Like, this is stuff like everybody wants to say, well, what can the insurance company give me? Well, as an insurance company, we are all about whatever you do as the insured, we are going to pay you back. We're going to put more money in your pockets. Granted, we're not actually giving you money. We're just saving you money. But
A penny saved is a penny earned.
it is.
I've heard that one before. That's a good one.
So absolutely, we want to incentivize more skin in the game for our insureds.
Yeah. I really like it. The app thing, that's a good idea, especially if you don't have to like click into something like, oh, I'm in my car, I'm driving. Like, that would be a pain in the ass.
Absolutely.
I would never want to do it.
I was the biggest holdout. I work for the company.
Yeah.
I was the biggest holdout for the product. I did not want anything to do with it because I did not want to have to sign in and all that jazz.
Oh, could you imagine if you had to do username and password?
Oh
no
my God.
one would
I'd
do
be
it.
like, nope.
It's not a chance.
But thing is, so I downloaded it one day and I'm sitting there in my office. I downloaded it on my phone. I signed myself up for it. So I got me and my sisters on my policy. And God, you got a 20-year-old and a 17-year-old on your policy. Premiums go up.
Yep. Yeah, you wouldn't want to do this with your teenage kids or siblings.
You do want to do it with the teenage kids because by putting it on there, you get a 10% intro discount and it can't harm you. So I've told people, I said, if you are a policy with 3 autos, take a look into downloading this because adding a underage driver costs a lot of money in the first place.
Yeah.
You want to save 10% at least to start, and then say, there are good 16-year-old drivers.
Oh, yes.
There are. So if they're going to drive responsibly, that discount's going to continue to reflect.
Nice.
And it cannot increase your rate. So this is definitely what I would say is to put it on those policies because insurance, when I don't have any kids.
Yeah,
but
me neither.
insurance, when you do have a 16-year-old, yeah, it does go up.
Yeah, and I can't imagine it would have been economical for my parents to give me one of those.
Absolutely not mine.
No. When I was 16, I got a car, an Impala. I still drive it today. It's old car. But it had a V8 engine in it. What the heck did I need that for when I was 16?
Premiums through the roof on that.
Yeah. I could not believe, I don't know how I convinced them that I needed a V8 engine in my car when I was 16. Terrible decisions. But it was cool. I was glad I had it. And guess what? People were like, that thing's going to break down. We're going on like 15 years. Whew. Let's go. Still rocking and rolling.
That's good.
Makes it through the Dubuque hills this time of year.
I was driving through Dubuque yesterday, that snowstorm. I was trying to get a volunteer coach over at Loris. So, baseball.
Baseball.
Yep.
Very cool.
So, a volunteer coach over at Loris. I'm trying to get to practice. And if anybody's familiar with Dubuque and listening to this, holy crud, there's hills all over the place. And I'm trying to pull up this hill to get to Loris' campus. I couldn't get up the hill with my Mazda, so I just I said, I'm not going to practice today. I'm going home.
Can't make it. Dude,
I
I believe it. It's tough. This hill right here, right out in front of my house, we see cars every time it snows. There are cars that get stuck going up this hill. every single time. It's almost always right in front of my driveway.
It's right there.
It's always when I'm shoveling snow. Like, I'll go out there and like I'll try to push, and they're just like, "Oh, I'm trying to get to work," and it's like, "You're gonna be late to work because you're not making it up this hill." We are on the American Family Nolan Weber website. So talk about what do we got here. What can people look for on your website?
So American Family is I'd say a small, like personal. You want to think personal lines here first with American Family. So you're thinking, what can you, Molly, or Joe, or Jim, or Jackie, what can you protect? So you're thinking a home, an auto. Okay, so you have those. So I bought a home. All right, I took a mortgage out. The bank requires me to carry homeowners insurance. Well, one of the questions you had for me was, is it a law to carry homeowners insurance? Well, it's not, but the bank's going to require
needs it.
Yeah. So you got to protect your home. You got to protect your auto. You're driving on the road. It is a law to have auto insurance because of the liability portion of that.
Yep.
And then there's also life insurance that we talk about. That's also on my website. Life insurance to me is very important because of my situation with my family. That it definitely does come into play. Life insurance to somebody might seem like, well, why am I spending $20 a month for this? I'm healthy. However, could you be healthy next time you go to the doctor? Who knows?
Who knows?
That's what we can offer. We can protect really anything that the common person could need protection for. If you have a trucking company, sorry, we can't do that.
Here's the funny thing I found out about, I think it's life insurance. There is literally a dollar amount for each like appendage on like your hand. Like if you lose your right thumb, it's more expensive than if you lose your right ring finger.
Yes, if you do have those are different types of we don't sell those.
Is that health? Is that health insurance?
I want to say it's accidental dismemberment. I don't. I comment.
Yeah, I don't know much about it.
Appendagements are worth different dollar amounts. If you were to lose those through certain situations, yes, there is a chart that shows you. So if anybody wants to, if you're thinking about doing something, at least make sure you do your math and figure it out. But and then also we do commercial. When I mentioned trucking companies, we do commercial insurance like. If you had a restaurant, we can insure the restaurant. We can do your liquor license all the way up through your workers' comp, and then insuring the building with the business personal property there.
And you get into all that stuff, like you.
Yes,
you personally do home, car, commercial, life.
Yeah, absolutely. I will touch that. My name will be on all of that. All those policies.
That's crazy. Like I think of home insurance, and there's a lot that can go into home insurance. But that's just one little spot.
I mean, we're really trying to bundle everything. We want to make sure that we have everything under one roof, that we can protect it.
Well-rounded.
Absolutely, because I don't want to. Gosh, the last thing I want is to do a monoline policy for somebody and not be their insurance agent for everything else. At least I would hope that even if I was their monoline policy holder and I was insuring their home, for instance, and not their auto, I would at least hope that they would ask me questions about their auto because, man, I'm such an anxious person that, like, I go to work every morning and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, this person had a problem a couple days ago. I want to make sure it's done. Like, if it's not done, it's going to eat at me.
Yeah.
Because I can't handle the fact, because I know if I was in that situation, I would want someone reaching out to me, making sure it was finished. Like I want to, as an agent, to make sure that any anxiety is relieved from any policyholder. Like, so that's what I'm saying is even if I did have a monoline, that they would ask me questions about their auto insurance, just to make sure like I was on page.
Yeah.
Like even with life insurance. So there's people that will go through their life insurance through a different company. However, I still want to know where my policyholders have their life insurance through so I can note it in my files. Because God forbid, they say you and Abby were insured with me and something happened to you and you didn't have any family around here, and either did Abby, so you're new to this area. And they wouldn't know, Abby wouldn't know potentially where you had life insurance through. Or maybe you were on your own and you had a couple kids and something happened to you. Your kids aren't going to know where your life insurance is through.
That'd be disastrous.
So that's where I want to make sure that I have notes on almost everything. Like just not that I mean, I would love to have everything under my roof, but
right.
I want to make sure that I know in the case that something were to happen to you, hey, Nolan, Rob he passed, but I mean, do you have this with you? No, I don't, but I do know where it's at.
Yeah.
Because my name's going to be at something in your house if you have a homeowner's policy with me or an auto. Like, my name's going to show up. It's like sometime they're just going to call the insurance guy and be like, do you have this or that? And I want to make sure that I have record of where you're at, just to make sure that we're A-okay.
Well, just imagine, like, doesn't a life insurance company, like if somebody's has life insurance and they die and they're not able to notify the insurance that they died, would the insurance find out? What if they didn't? That'd be terrible.
I know.
You pay all this money for 50 years. It's like, take my money when I die, pass it on to my kids.
Absolutely.
Like, that'd be terrible.
I mean, I'm sure there's God. I mean, I'm trying to wrap my head around this. So say you were the last of your kin. You lived to be 95. You had a whole life policy that had X dollars accumulated. You listed just your trust as, at that point, the beneficiary. Like, that money's got to go to somebody. The insurance company's sitting here trying to pay out the check. That'd
be weird. Tell people, if you have life insurance, tell people you have life insurance and where it's through.
Absolutely.
Especially your agent.
If you have, life insurance it's like the auto, you can lapse on your auto insurance if, God forbid, something happened to somebody. You can just lapse in your auto or your home, or the bank's going to, if you still have a mortgage, the bank's going to notify you.
Yes.
But with life insurance, just let people know where it's at, because that is it's a biggie.
Yeah. Well, cool. So, last one before we get into, I guess, last little topic before we get into these closing questions. You started business in Dubuque, right on the single day that people in Dubuque started freaking out for COVID, or maybe a few weeks after. How was that, man? How are you, how has that changed the way you thought you would do business versus,
It was terrible.
Tell me more.
So the big plan was that we were going to have a open house at the insurance office with me and the former agent. We were going to have an open house, kind of goodbye, hello, this is me, thank you for you, type of deal. However, COVID happened.
COVID says
and with COVID, getting back to the point of I couldn't get a phone in my office for a minute because COVID. So it definitely hurt. Definitely hurts potential new business production. I sell myself on, yes, I hope our rates can save you money. However, I want to sell myself on the service that we can provide with our policy to you. So if I can't sit in front of you and talk to you about this, what am I better than a call center? That's where I had struggles with COVID, was that I wanted to bring people in to say, hey, I am this person. These are my morals. This is how I want to help you. I can't do that in a pandemic.
Yeah, it's hard.
It's definitely hard. So that's how that affected me. We're starting to, as the vaccine's starting to get delivered, as people are starting to become more immune just from the herd and all that, just as the restrictions are starting to lighten up a little bit, we're starting to see more of an influx in face-to-face meetings, which is good. Definitely helping with business.
Yeah, it's so much better. That's why I got a studio here. I probably could have done this. I probably could have saved a little money on my setup in my studio and just done Zoom calls and made a podcast out of it. But it's no, I want to meet with you.
Absolutely.
I can feel the energy when we're in the same room.
Personal connections are definitely big. So we had someone come in the other day. We were initially saving them money on their home and their auto insurance. Okay. But however, when someone gets one quote, they typically get 3-4 quotes.
Yep.
We had this conversation with her. She really liked us. My associate actually was the one that sold this policy. She really liked him. He did a really good job talking to her, explaining everything. She ended up coming in and having a meeting with us. And then we ended up getting her signed up. Then she ended up like afterwards when she came in the next day to get her insurance cards, 'cause we had to go get some ink. If you ever have to buy ink in Dubuque,
Expensive.
It sucks.
Not good. Buy a new printer.
But so she comes in and you get her insurance cards because we didn't have the ink the day before. And she tells us, she said, I actually did end up getting a quote cheaper elsewhere, but you were still saving me money and I just really like doing business with you.
Heck yes.
So that was, I mean, that's definitely meaningful. And you can't do that unless you can meet face to face. And that comes back to the trust. I mean, I have a 25-page document sitting right there with a policy specimen. I mean, you can go read it.
Yeah.
But do you trust the person selling you the policies is what it comes down to.
That's the biggest thing. I had here on a discussion question, and I was going to ask you, like, if someone's going out and shopping quotes and they don't have an agent, whatever, why would they choose Nolan Weber over the competition? You've highlighted it over and over again, and like you're not going to tell people that you have all this experience and you know all the answers. You're gonna do right for them, and you're gonna hustle and do what is the best for them. And if you don't know the answer, you're gonna find it. And
absolutely.
And you're gonna do more than the competition. And it might be even a little bit more expensive policy, but it's gonna be worth it because it's more valuable. Your service bundled in with the policy and the protection.
Absolutely. So I think American Family rates, our rates are super competitive. We're always middle of the pack. Sometimes we save people money. That's where you're selling most business by saving someone money off the bat. But our niche was what I'd like to sell myself on is that it is the hustle. It is if you ask me a question, I'm not going to BS you an answer.
Love it.
Because I have too much anxiety.
Yeah.
That if I was just a sales guy, I could BS you one real quick and get your account and routing information and go write that policy on my books.
Yeah.
However, if I do that, I'm not going to be in business for more than 2 years.
Yeah. The business you do, it's like you build a book and it's year over year and you want to renew and like you want to build, it's like a snowball. You want to keep it rolling.
Absolutely. You cannot, that snowball doesn't just get big. It takes a minute to get big. You got to roll down that hill for a little bit.
Yeah.
It's just definitely building that clientele to get the referrals to you are helping people. I mean, when somebody uses insurance, they're at a low point in their life. Hey, Nolan, my roof's gone. Oh, are you going to tell me that's a peak or a low point?
Whoa.
Like that's, I just T-boned somebody. Like I just got T-boned. What should I do? I just put my car in a ditch. This is a lot of, definitely where we can help, where we want to help. And it just requires the communication and being in the office, being able to call somebody back the same day. I mean, granted they left me a voicemail because I didn't answer the phone. Sorry if that ever happens.
It happens.
But
he's just podcasting. If he doesn't answer your phone, he's podcasting.
But Kyle's in the office, so he can answer.
There we go.
But I want to get back. Like, I don't ever want somebody waiting on like a call service. Dial 3. What's your policy? No. Nolan, why is my stuff messed up? And then I will answer that question for you.
There we go.
I will just if you want to be upset with me.
Yeah.
Come at me.
Come at me, bro.
I'm going to match you. We're going to talk about this, but I'm going to talk you down, and we're going to be okay.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lead that conversation being upset with somebody because if I was somebody that said, I understand. I'm a person too. If my insurance agent was effing me over, then I'm going to be upset.
Yeah.
Like, call me. Like, let me know. Like, it only hurts both of us if we don't have a communication in line. Like, we need, like, if you're upset with your claims process, let me know. I'll handle it.
Dude, guys, if you're listening, it's like you want an insurance agent like this. Seriously. Like, I understand there's some value in, like, having 50 years experience, but you want someone who's going to hustle and have your back. It's just awesome. I hope a ton of people in the Dubuque area listen to this who need insurance because honestly, I don't know what else you'd need to hear. I mean, take my money, Nolan, type of thing. I appreciate you you going into that. That's good stuff. Let's get to the closing questions. And we didn't even talk about this. Sometimes we talk before the mic gets on. What's your favorite book?
Favorite book? So like I told you though, audiobook. If you're an audiobook person, dive into David Goggins. Man, like I was sitting there at like a stress point in my life, and I'm just moved to Dubuque from Cedar Rapids, new area. Don't know. I mean, I'm from Cascade, so obviously knew some
Know
people,
the area
but
a little bit.
I'm living downtown. I don't know people. I got into running because my sisters are big runners, and I love the outdoors. I love just looking at stuff, and I love being out in the sunlight. So I moved here in like September-ish. David Goggins, I'm going on these long runs. It's like, music's just not doing it for me. So I listened to this David Goggins book, and man, he absolutely flipped my world upside down.
We did mention this before we turned the mics on, folks. David Goggins, Can't Hurt Me. That's a top fiver for me, folks. I'm a big reader. Your favorite? It's definitely in my top five. It's had one of the biggest impact on my life. I mean, I literally was you ask anyone who knew me in 2019, like I was a lifter. I was like a power lifter. I was a football lifter. I moved the weights in the gym. And then last year, I ended up running 100 miles through the inspiration of David Goggins.
Another book I would highly recommend is The Money Makeover. I'm a big
Dave Ramsey
guy. I forgot his name. Big Dave Ramsey guy. He absolutely changed my life in setting up goals. I still to this day have not had a credit card.
Wow.
23, and that's the reason why I could not get a mortgage loan to go through Rob Rottler Realty.
Oh man, but that is the one thing that that's the one thing that it will cause trouble there is if you can't get a mortgage.
Dave has these like David Goggins, has these very extremist beliefs.
Extreme.
And yeah, but those are some of my favorite books I've read. Is definitely David Goggins set a tone for my lifestyle from here on out. Dave Ramsey financially, just his principles are just good principles to follow. If you follow them loosely, but at least you follow them, good principles to follow by.
Dave Ramsey's Total Money Makeover. I got gifted that as a college graduation present from my grandma. That was the first book I read because I wanted to read it, and I took off, and now I love reading. I read every single day. And it's that one was like, wow, what is this? Like personal development? Like you can learn like life things through reading?
Oh my God.
It's great.
It's great. He definitely talks about the ups and downs of life. And
have you read Rich Dad Poor Dad? You have to.
Rich Dad Poor Dad?
Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki.
What's he talk about there?
He's a little different than Dave Ramsey. He's a little, some would say a little opposite, but he's a money guy, and he's like, it's like the number one book for, it's so good. You just have to.
I mean, I'm assuming that.
If you like Total Money Makeover.
Did that book influence you to start doing the.
Investing?
Yes.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm thinking. Because it was like Dave Ramsey in your situation would not be going to start rental properties.
Right. Yep. It's different.
So this would be the opposite.
This would be Robert
leveraging
Kiyosaki.
Yourself to knowing that you're going to be able to afford, and this just makes sense at this point.
Got to read it. You
Absolutely.
should.
I know. I like that. I mean, gosh, no matter how much money you have ever, it just makes sense to read about it because
to know about it.
More money's better than less money.
You're right.
I mean, at the end of the day.
Yeah. What are your hobbies?
Well, Rob sees me every once in a while because I don't know if Rob lifts every morning. Don't let him fool you. True. I'll see him in there. So I like to go to True in the morning. Or not True. So we got to call it Volv.
Get with the times.
Kim down at Volv, now that Signature's closed. Volv is definitely would recommend just check it in. I mean, great atmosphere. Would you not agree?
Oh, it's outstanding. I've been going there ever since 2018, January-ish. Yeah, it's a great gym. Awesome.
Great atmosphere. Love the people there. What else I like watching movies. really do.
What's your favorite?
That's a dumb question because you can't just ask somebody a lot. No, I can't.
What's your Mount Rushmore of movies?
I'll just give you like genres. So I have a good buddy of mine. Me and him, we used to watch rom-coms back in college. We were big rom-coms. Oh my gosh, like my favorite movie would be like there's this movie called the one that comes to my mind is Two Night Stand. It has nobody's gonna know this movie. It has Miles Teller in it.
No idea.
I know, but Two Night Stand's a good movie. I really do like The Big Short and The Wolf of Wall Street. Those are just like
funny.
I mean, like the thing is, like I've watched The Big Short so many times, trying to like learn what they're talking about. Like
I've never seen that one, but
Big Short is you can just watch. You can sit there and just watch it. Like
what's it about?
Shorting stocks.
Oh.
It's talking about the economic crisis in 2008 and 2009.
Ooh.
It's talking about like the homes, the value. Oh my gosh, it's so
I
good.
bet I would really like that.
Wolf of Wall Street's awesome because it really does ride a very high, like talking about this action, fun, like life you live, but then like really dives into some deep stuff. Like
It's dark.
that was a very good movie that I really liked.
If you had to point to the one thing you either learned, developed, or were just born with that makes you successful, what would that be?
Tell you what, everybody, the one thing that's going to make anybody successful in life is the ability to sell, regardless if you are a salesman or if you are a doctor.
Like it.
The ability to sell is the ability to sell yourself, not always the ability to sell a product.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'll go on top of that. Folks, if you're still listening, I really had never had a real conversation with Nolan before this podcast. I bet you'd never guess it. Like, people are probably thinking, like, oh, we're good buddies. We go way back. Yeah. And that's you bringing that out.
Yeah. My dad actually would not let me visit Wartburg because he knew my cousin Ben that Rob Rob played with.
Shout out Ben Weber.
Shout out Ben Weber. My dad actually would not let me visit Wartburg because he knew that when I was in high school I'd probably get in some trouble.
That's funny. It's funny. Hey, we have good time over there. Waverly, Iowa, baby. Let's go. Okay, a couple more. Who is someone you are wanting to meet?
This could be met with some criticism. Pete Rose is a guy that I would love to meet. I would love to sit down. I've read a lot of his books. If I could put a lie detector on Pete Rose and just absolutely have that conversation and talk with him about his life and everything he did, that would be a very fun conversation to talk about. Man, like the guy is banned from baseball. Like, he's the hit king.
Yeah.
That would be a very fun conversation.
That would be really good. A lot of story there.
Like that, everybody's like, "Oh, I want to meet this big celebrity." No, I want to meet somebody that like controversy story. What's their side?
Lance Armstrong.
Yeah, absolutely. But you got to get him to. Has he admitted to steroids?
Yeah, he did.
Yes. That would be another good one. Like, sit him down and be like, what were you thinking? Like, where was the thought process? Why did you do this? Who approached you with this? I know they have the 30 for 30 now.
That's what I just saw, yeah. I think
But those are the people I want to talk to.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I have no reason to want to talk to, like, I mean, I'm sure every other big-time person has stories, but these are the people that were brought into the limelight with their stories. So I would love to hear those.
Yeah, that'd be really good. Good one. What are you currently focusing on, and how can the listeners help you?
Currently focusing on, I mean, I'll just be honest with you, like self-confidence. It's a big one. Like right now in our social media age, it is tough. Like
a lot of comparison.
If you hop on to this one thing that I deleted my Twitter. So
same.
Definitely social media comparison and like self-confidence. You hop on there and it's like, well, that person's better than me. And then that's only your conception of that person. So that is my big thing, and not only help me out, but to others, if anybody's still listening, is to bring other people up. I mean, small compliments. Me and Kyle,
They'll go a long way.
Yeah, the associate in my office, we're talking about this the other day, and we talked about you cannot change the system. If you blame the system right now, I'll tell you what, you can't change it. Just do whatever, whoever's listening. No, but you can change a couple parts in the system in your local neighborhood and who you are friends with, and just have conversation with them and bring them up. Definitely, like, just tell them, hey, you look good. That means a lot.
I love it.
I think that definitely is way more important than you going on Twitter and firing off that the United States system sucks. No,
yeah.
Don't do that.
That's not helping.
No, it's not. But just bring up people, and that's definitely, like, I would say 99% of people, unless you're one of those David Goggins guys that has a hardwired mind, that no, 99% of people I'd say would probably struggle with just the self-confidence, just based off comparison.
It's tough. Yeah.
Absolutely. And social media, definitely. I love social media. I'm still an Instagram guy. I still like Facebook. Just off Twitter. Definitely like interacting with people, but definitely does create some disparity between conversation. Like, ooh, I have to.
A lot of comparison.
Yeah, and it's not fun. It's definitely not good. So, just bring up somebody near you.
Make somebody's day today. Let's go.
It's always a great day to have a great day.
Great day to have a great day. Last question. Two more. How many dingers did you hit?
In college?
Both.
Oh, I don't know how many I've hit in my life. So as a my senior year, I hit 2 home runs. I'm trying to think when they were. I hit one against Warburg.
Nice.
My first one. So actually, I hit 2 very meaningful home runs against in my senior year of college. One was against Warburg at Warburg. So Steve Cook, you're not going to listen to this, but he's sitting down there in the third base coaching box as my head coach, and I had just rolled over on a baseball and I got a base hit. Steve Cook says to me, he says, Nolan, you're a leader on this team. You always say stick to the process. Why don't you stick to the process one time? Full disclosure, I'm an absolute head case, and I don't always... Yeah, I'm just a head case. Yeah. But Cook says to me, he says, stick to the process one time. I stuck to the process, hit a home run over center field at Warburg, and it was a good poke. And then Jordan Kaplan, he told me before my at-bat, he said, don't be a...
Dumbass.
Yeah.
A little worse.
Yeah. He said, don't be a... Before you bat, and I hit a home run, and then he was pumped up. There's a sweet picture of it. And then my second home run was on senior day at Co-College. We had senior day, and...
Special.
I hit a home run against Loris, who I now coach for, and I was a single away from the cycle after I hit a home run. So the easiest one to get, I was a single away from the cycle.
I have to bring up my home run story now. I was a sophomore in high school. Only home run I ever hit. This field, a normal high school field is like 270 to the corners and like 320, 330 to center.
Where are you playing at?
This was in Northwood, Iowa. This was 320 to the corners, 250 to the center.
Oh, it was straight across.
It was just straight across. One of those fields. I hit a ball. My first at bat, I hit a ball. Goes straight up. I'm like, oh, gosh. Pop up. Dang it. I start kind of trotting a little bit. Home run. That thing would have been a routine flyout in any field ever except for Northwood, Iowa. And then I went on to hit all but a single in that game. Same thing. Crazy.
Yeah, no.
Crazy.
Definitely one of the weirder moments ever.
Yeah.
But other home runs, but...
We could go all day, but we only got one more. Here we go. How can people learn more about you?
So like I said, I'm not a large social media presence, so definitely not on Twitter. I do repost every once in a while on Facebook, If you're going to follow me on Instagram, I'm only sharing posts of the Buffalo Bills. Because go Bills.
Go Bills. They're rocking this year.
We're rocking. Find out more about me, as I would say, reach out to me. So my email, I believe it's on our social media or on our AmFam website. If you really want to get to know me, just DM me, I guess, on Instagram.
Yeah. Nolan Weber.
Yeah, Nolan_Weber is all it is. It's not. I like more personal contact. If you see me, I mean, hopefully I'm not wasting money, spending money on billboards.
Yeah.
So if you've seen me around, just walk up to me.
Shout him out. He's approachable.
I'm the scared guy talking to you.
Dude, you're good talking, man.
Like
you're good.
I'm the scared guy talking to you. So do never feel like you are imposing on my life, because I'm the one sitting there with headphones in thinking about how the hell am I going to talk to this person?
Yeah. A lot of people are. Here's the deal. We're going to go for a run sometime. All right?
Absolutely.
All right. Hey, I appreciate you being on, Nolan. Had a freaking great time. Lots of insurance knowledge being tossed around. Listeners, if you liked it, share it. Please share the show. More people need to hear this. More people need an insurance agent like Nolan. So share the show. I appreciate you listening. Nolan, thanks for being on.
No problem. Thank you very much.
And with that, we are out.
Peace.
All right, guys. Thank you for listening to today's episode of Real Estate in the Tri-State. We want to encourage all of our listeners to send in any and all real estate questions to us at rottlerpodcast@gmail.com. More details in our show notes.
And as always, let's have a great day, folks.